Welcome, this is Shakti. I'm an online astrologer, online a lot because I'm living on Maui. So this is our beautiful North Shore beach back there. So I want you to sniff a little Hawaiian aloha spirit, and also invite you to find out a little bit more in depth metaphysical healing information about the amethyst. So as an astrologer and gemstone expert and jeweler for many, many years, I always try to combine those both areas of passion and expertise. And I was always interested in how you can balance out difficult and challenging areas in your birth chart, which correlates with different aspects in your personality, with the right gemstone, because each gemstone is carrying what we call a signature, which is created out of the crystal structure, the chemical composition, the light reflection, and the color. So all these aspects add into which is your best birthstone, and not only for your sun, but for all your different planets. So there's one stone for your heart, for your Venus, one stone for your ability to learn, your communication skills can be helped and sharpened, your throat chakra opened by the right stone. So today we're going to talk in depth about the amethyst, which is one of the true birthstones for Pisces. And I hope you will enjoy. Let me know what you think. I always love to hear back from you, and not only talking into this empty screen there. So come over, have a little visit with me in paradise, and I hope to hear from you. Okay, see you over there. Welcome over here. And you might wonder why we all have this love for gemstones. And I think it has to do with those perfectly balanced light and color qualities they represent to us. So because of their crystal structures, they're kind of perfectly balanced. So if we know which principle they're carrying, then we can really help them to balance energy centers in our body and get very specific with that energetic balancing. So today I'm going to take you into the mysterious world of one of the birthstones for Pisces, which is also significant for February into March. And the amethyst is not the only Piscean stone, but it's one of my favorites. So we're going to start with this one. But before I'm going to discuss the Pisces birthstone, the amethyst, in depth, I want to talk briefly about the whole concept behind birthstones and why everybody knows their birthstone, like everybody knows their star sign. Isn't that interesting? The concept of birthstones is a marketing strategy of the jewelers. It just is another way to give you something to identify with, to make it important that this is your stone you want to wear in a piece of jewelry. And as an astrologer, the so-called official birthstone list, which actually they can't agree on, so there are different lists out there. But when I, as an astrologer, look at them, they don't really comply with the astrological principles and signature. So my suggestion is you really forget about those and take the more specific look at your whole natal chart. And then you really know which are your true birthstones. So today we want to look at the metaphysical qualities of amethyst, who carries the signature of Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, and Chiron. And here in the picture you see like a druzy. And I used to have, when I had a jewelry gallery and crystal gallery in Germany, I used to have a big piece in the entrance room. And I would give people who had not much experience with frequency of gemstones and they couldn't feel the energies, I would ask them to hold their hand into a piece of druzy like that. And everybody can feel it. It's like a tingling of an ultrasonic device or something. So that was always a shortcut to give a person an experience. So there is something to these energies of the gemstones. Because one of the signatures, astrological signatures of Amethyst is Jupiter. So, and the Jupiter reference refers to that it has the qualities of a teacher. And throughout the centuries, Amethyst has been well known as a good luck charm. So this relates to Jupiter, Jupiter who brings good fortune, lucky circumstances, brings people into our life which are helpful. So on a higher level to look at Jupiter, it's really about expansion. It's about meaningful success. So Amethyst can support you in that. If you don't know the specific signature of a gemstone, there's always the first step that you just look at the color and relate it back to the chakras. So the amethyst, the violet, is represented by the crown chakra. So even without knowing the specific astrological qualities, you know this is a stone which opens you to your connection to the divine. So it's a stone which helps to bring inspiration in. And that inspiration is not only of artistic nature, it also is bringing in the quality of Neptune. So it is well known as a stone of sobriety. And I remember I gave a class in Germany many years ago, and I had a doctor of alternative medicine in there who worked with alcohol addicts, and he said they would give people in the group work they did, they would give them amethyst as a focal point for their work. And he was kind of surprised that it really is throughout history called the stone of sobriety. They just thought it was a focal point, an anchor for something specific they wanted to help strengthen for their clients. So this is kind of how we intuitive sometimes pick out the right stone for a specific challenge or problem. As a representative of Neptune, the amethyst is a very helpful stone whenever you have a strong Neptune or Pisces in your chart. And when that is the case, there is a strong yearning in your being to connect to those higher realms of consciousness. There is this longing for God, a search for something more than our limited daily reality. So people who fall under this astrological configuration often are tempted to take the shortcut to those higher, more exalted states of consciousness by using chemical substances, drugs, alcohol. But of course, in the long run, that's not a good choice. So amethyst helps by uplifting your consciousness. Amethyst becomes the messenger, the mystic who reminds you of your eternal connection to God. So in doing that, amethyst is a bringer of bliss, of understanding, of expansion of your being. So another aspect of it helps to clear the mind, and it helps to look at life from that higher wisdom perspective. So it's uplifting our consciousness out of those very limited way of looking. So because of that, we could call the amethyst a spiritual teacher. And then there is a very different aspect to it. We could call it a spiritual vacuum cleaner. So amethyst, with all that connection to higher realms, brings in those higher frequencies and helps to clean out the lower frequencies, the low-end ways of doing things. And it does it really on an energetic, physical level. So amethyst is a wonderful stone to really let go of those limiting lower frequencies. The physical connection, healing, cleansing out of amethyst has to do with the connection to the first chakra. That's the Mars energy, the red and the violet. So basically we could say amethyst kind of balances from the first chakra up to the crown chakra. So balances us between heaven and earth. And there is a deep spiritual healing process which can happen. And here's a connection to Chiron. So every true healing, I'm not talking about just making symptoms go away, but every true healing has to go along with an uplifting of your consciousness, with integrating something which threw you out of balance to begin with. So Chiron, as a wounded healer, as a mentor, is a principle which helps you to integrate and come to that higher wisdom perspective, which in itself is healing. And in doing that, amethyst deepens our self-understanding. You could say we learn to look at ourselves from that higher self perspective. In opening the crown chakra, it opens artistic channels. Doesn't matter what kind of creative way of expression you have found, if it's through music or painting or dancing. It just opens that channel and inspires you to let those higher ideas and impressions flow through you. And what I really love about the amethyst, it's a really wonderful stone to help open the crown chakra widely. And it's a stone to help with meditation. So for normal people, it's often hard to just sit down and meditate because our mind runs 150% on a daily basis, being on the computer, doing 1,000 things all at once. And it's hard to just quieten down our mind. So amethyst is one of those really wonderful stones helping us do that. So you can do that by just laying down, placing a crystal on your forehead or behind your head on the ground or on your bed. So I would suggest play around a little bit with amethyst as helping to quieten your mind and to help you to connect with those higher dimensions and your higher self. Because gemstones are carrier frequencies and they pick up energies from handling along the way to end up with us, it's always important to do a little ritual of cleansing from those picked up energies, so you really only have the energy of the stone you're working with. So I've done some other videos about cleansing. So basically you can do it with all the different energies: water, fire, air, earth. And then the next step is that you program the gemstone of any kind you work with the added intention of what you want this stone to be for you and do for you. And from NLP and hypnotherapy, we know that anything can become an anchor for our conscious mind and unconscious mind. And gemstones are wonderful to use that way. I have 2 other videos out there about cleansing and programming. So if you want a little bit more guidance about that, you can go and check it out. And then, if you're a real gemstone lover, you might want to consider to get my astrological gemstone profile report, where I put together for you your main 14 healing gemstones based on the planetary positions of all the different planets in your chart. So these are your main healing stones. These are the stones I would suggest you start with to get familiar with and play around with. And especially if you want to have jewelry, these would be the first one I would look for in a selection. In my book, Jewelry and Gemstones for Self-Discovery, I teach you how to find your gemstones, and you get all the description of most of the stones ever used in jewelry. But the gemstone profile is a printout where I do it for you, and it's for the 10 classical planets, your moon nodes, your ascendant, and your Chiron. So if that's of interest for you, go check it out at jewelryandgemsforselfdiscovery.com or at my astrology page, mauiastrologyreading.com. Either way, you can find out more about it. If you haven't done so yet, please sign up for your subscription for my videos if this is of interest for you. You can also sign up for my newsletter, and there you will get a free report, so you can get a little taste about what your true birthstone, love stone is for your Venus position in your natal chart, and you get your astrological birth chart. So I hope you enjoyed. Like me if you do, and I hope to see you another time. And as we say here on Maui, aloha.